Hey everyone, this is D Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you once again with my out of the theater, in the theater thoughts, this time for... Yes, honestly, I feel like I've been held captive for the past 3 hours and a half, and I'm just trying to figure out how did we go from 2 hours and 42 minutes in the first film to then 3 hours and 10 minutes in the second film, and now 3 hours and 30 minutes for this film. Like, is the fourth film going to be 4 hours? I think James Cameron is going to go for a record with that one, but that's fine. But as far as this, like, there's nothing new to really say that I didn't say in my Avatar: The Way of Water review. I think we can all agree, if nothing else, and really, to me, it's the only noteworthy aspect of these films, but technologically, visually, effects-wise, all of that is next level. Honestly, you know, just from the visual aesthetic, no one can say anything about that. I definitely can't say anything about that. I will also say that I think a couple of the side plots were interesting. A couple, mind you, we have like 11 characters in this film, but I did think a couple of those were interesting. I thought the main antagonist, as far as the Ash Tribe, I thought she was really compelling. I thought aesthetically, performance-wise, visually, all of that. I will also say that the one thing that this film always comes through and always delivers on is the final battle. I can say that the final battle in the first film, the second film, and definitely this film, it was entertaining, it was visually engaging, dynamic, all of that. Once again, that was the sequence that, to me, kept my attention the most and made me appreciate the experience the most. Outside of that, I am trying hard to figure out what about this film is not, for the most part, beat for beat what I saw in the previous film. I mean, there is a little bit of hyperbole there, but so much of this, especially the structure of it, really just felt like I was seeing Way of Water all over again. The last hour was the film for me. Like I said, that whole last sequence, I understand we have to build up to it. I understand we have to tell the story, but it's just like, my Lord, it's not necessary. It's bloated, it's excessive, and it just feels like James Cameron wants to say, like, hey, you know, like, I can do it, so I will. Like, less is more, okay? Less is more. I understand more is more, but less really is more. And I understand the film is trying to do the whole world building thing. I appreciate that, but again, even with the world building part, I don't feel like I learned that much about the Ash people. I don't feel like I learned anything about the Water Tribe any more than I did last time, to an extent. So yeah, it's just like, what are we adding all of this extra fluff and extra scenes and all of this for? Why? I have no idea. And let me just say this. I said this before and I'm going to say it again. Spider, he is not only the worst character in this film, but he is probably one of the worst written, worst executed, worst acted characters I've probably seen in years. And that might sound like an exaggeration, but to me it's not, because what is this? It is beyond comprehension. Listen, you don't have to be a James Cameron fan, and maybe I need to go back through his filmography, but I just feel like there is not one film off the top of my head I can think of that would have a character this insanely awful. The acting is horrible. The look and the aesthetic is horrible. Hair and the loincloth, all that is horrible. The writing for the character is horrible. Like, he literally only serves the purpose of standing around and saying, I don't know, saying frat boy stuff. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. It's just like he stands around and says stuff like, hey, I gotta take a leak. And man, what a butthole. And it's just like, I just, why? It makes no sense. It's just like you have this character that is just there to walk around and say the dumbest things at the dumbest times with the worst possible performance. I don't know anything about Jake Champion. I think someone mentioned he was in Scream 6. I don't recall him in that, but it's just like, what is this performance? What is this characterization? Why do I care about him? Why is he a focal point in this story? Why is he here? Why is he here? Why is he here? I have no idea. And even the way that this film ends, I'm just like, this character sucks. Awful, awful. The pits. I try to find the balance. I try to be fair, but I'm sorry. There is no time, point of any day within any year that you're going to tell me that Spider is a well-written character and that his execution, the handling of him, how he fits into the story, you are never, ever, never, never going to convince me that he works and that he makes this film better. It is a lie. I refuse to believe that anybody believes that. And if you do, then I have some beachfront property in Kansas to sell you, because there's no way. And honestly, for that alone, this film deserves every bit of dragging and energy and irritation and frustration that I just gave it. This personally was not worth my time. I love, in theory, the escapism of sci-fi and fantasy and all of that, but my lord, it's just like, this just feels like bloated excess and a way for James Cameron to say like, hey, here's what I can do with a bunch of money and people will come and see it and I can make billions of dollars because people want to see me make these movies and make even more billions of dollars. Yay for the theater staying open, but as far as these films, it's an absolute, again, I just said this, but it is a no, no, no for me. Good night. Okay, yeah. So once again, this is the Movieman signing off, and I'll see you at the movies. But not if it's like this. My lord, what is going on? Okay, like I said, I'll see you at the movies.